Hello everyone, you're all welcome back. Thank you to all our subscribers. And if this is your first time on the channel, thank you for joining us. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make a wrap top, crop wrap top with a spaghetti sleeve. So I've gone ahead to mark my start line and I'm going to go over to take my neck width and neck width of 3 inches. If you're on a bigger side, you can go with 3.5, you can go with 4 inches. And I'm going to take my neck depth of 3 inches as well. So I'll go ahead and rule a straight line connecting those dots. Then I'm going to curve it at the edge there. I'll go on and mark my shoulder length. The shoulder I'm working with is 16 inches. Divide 16 inches by 2. That's 8 inches. So I'm going to mark 8 inches at that point. And I'll come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slant. Because the shoulder is not straight, it's slanted. So we need to mark that line there. So I'll really line from the neck width to that point. So I'll take my vertical measurement. I'm working with bust point of 11 inches. And the waist measurement I'm working with is 18 inches. So I added ½ inch for my seam allowance, making it 18.5. So that's the full length of the paper. So I'll go ahead and rule a straight line, a horizontal line at that bust point. Then I'll mark my armhole depth. To achieve your armhole depth, what you need to do is to divide your bust measurement by 6 inches and you add 1.5. So I'm going to rule a straight line and then take the line to the other end. I'll measure my armhole depth and then mark out the midpoint. At that midpoint, I'm going to go in by ½ inch. So I'm going to make a curve through that ½ inch, connecting it into the armhole depth. So I'm going to mark the lines. I have my bust points, my chest line and my waistline. I'm going to divide my bust measurement by 4 and whatever I get, I'm going to mark it at the chest line, and I'll go ahead to add my seam allowance of 1.5 inches. I'll come down to the waistline, divide the waist measurements I'm working with by 4 inches. Working the waist measurement of 33 inches. While my bust measurement is 38, the bust measurement is 38 inches. So I'm dividing all this measurement by 4, and whatever I get, I'm marking it down there and adding allowance of 1.5. And one thing to note, I'm not adding that to the front of this wrap top, but I'm going to be adding to the back. If you want, you can add the dart to yours. It's a matter of preference, what you want. So I'm going to be marking the sleeve now. I'm going to be taking away some inches from that top. So I want the spaghetti sleeve to be 5 inches. So I'm going to come down from that start line by 5 inches, and I'll roll a straight line into the armhole. So I'm going to be cutting off the upside, and also I'm going to roll I'm going to extend my chest line. Now the wrap top you're making have a sweetheart neckline. Yes, the shape is a sweetheart shape. So to achieve that, I'm going to be taking my curve from the chest line. You can go up if you really want it to be up. You can go by 2 inches, 1.5 or 1 inch. So I'm going to take my curve from the chest line into the 5 inches point that I came down by. And I'll go ahead to add my seam allowance of 1/2 inch. So I'm going to roll that line there for the seam allowance. So after this, we are basically done. The next thing is to cut it out. So when you open it up, this is how it's going to look. This is how our top is going to look. So now I'm going to go to the other end of the top, and I'll from the down, I'll go up by 2.5. So from that 2.5, I'm going to make a curve from this sweetheart neckline point. I'm going to curve it down to that 2.5. And I'm going to cut out the other part. That one won't be needed anymore. So this is what we're going to be using. I'm going to place this on our fabric, and I'll cut out 2 of it, and then the lining as well. So you're going to watch how I'll go about it. So this is the back pattern. I'll quickly run through it. The difference between it and the front is not much. So I just marked my bust point of 11 inches and 18.5 inches for the full length. I'm going to roll a line, a straight line. Sorry, my marker is just misbehaving. I hope the lines are clear. So I'll go on and mark my neck width of 3 inches, and I'll be using neck depth of 1 inch. So I'll curve it. I'll rule a straight line and give it a curve. Then I'll take my shoulder measurement of 8 inches. I'll come down at that point by 1 inch, and I'll connect it from the neck width to the shoulder point. And then I'm going to take my armhole. I'll come down by my armhole, which is 38 inches divided by 6 plus 1.5, which is 7.8. That's my armhole depth. So I'm going to rule the chest line there. And I'm going to get my armhole curve. No need for going in, just give it a curve around there. Then I'm going to take my dart line. The bust span I'm working with is 8 inches. Divide 8 inches by 2. It's going to give you 4 inches. So plus my seam allowance, which is 4.5. So I'll mark it there from the waistline to the chest line, and I roll the straight line. So I'll take my dart on each side, 1/2 inch on each side. I'm going to rule it from the chest down to the waistline. Sorry guys, my marker is not clear. He's just giving me a hard time. So I'm going to come down by 5 inches, just like I did at the front side for the spaghetti sleeve. Remember, we are cutting that out of it. And I'm I'm going to add 1/2 inch for my sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. So I'll mark that point. So sorry guys, I forgot to take my measurement, my round bust measurement and waist. So the bust divide by 4 plus 1.5 inches sewing allowance. The waist divide by 4. I'm going to be adding, remember the dart we took, which is 1 inch, 1/2 inch on each side is 1 inch. I'm going to be adding that 1 inch, and I'm going to be adding my 1.5 inches for the seam allowance. So I'll rule a straight line from top to bottom. So I'm going to cut it out there. And this is what we have. This is the back, this is the front. So I'm going to be cutting both of them on fold. Okay, I'm going to be cutting them on fold. So I placed my pattern paper on my fabric and I cut out the fabric. This is what we have. You can see the shape is already forming. So this is the front pattern. You can see how it looks. So I went ahead to cut 4 pieces. Okay, because I'm going to be using this material, this fabric, to turn my neckline. I'm going to be using lining. I also cut out 2 pieces for the back. I'm going to be using one of the pieces as a lining, and you can also just turn the neck using your bias strip without having to use a lining. So this is the spaghetti strap I'll be using. On fold is 1.5 inches in width, while the length is around 12 inches. Remember, it's supposed to be 10 because we took 5 inches from the front and back. But because I need some allowance, I measured out 12 inches. So I'm going to be placing it on my front pattern this way. Then I'll go ahead and sew it round. But that will be after turning this strap first. Then I'll go on to do this. I'm going to do the same thing with the back. So after turning the strap, I sew it down using 1/2 inch, and I turned it out and gave it a good press and put the stitch side in the middle. So I now placed it on the front pattern, and I left like 1/2 inch from the armpits. Okay, you need to do that so that when you're adding this other lining to it to sew, there is space. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So after attaching the strap, I'll go to my sewing machine, place the lining on it, and sew it down at the neckline, to the armpits, to the side, and also to the down part. But I'm going to leave like 2.5 inches for turning. I'll do same thing to the other side of the front pattern as well. So I've gone ahead to attach the spaghetti strap and also to use my lining to turn the neckline, just like I explained earlier. And I left 2.5 inches to turn it out. That was what I used to turn it out. So I'm going to use hemming gum to hold down that side later. So now what I'm going to do, there is a long strap that is at the front. That place is also open for that. So now for my back pattern, I'll go ahead and take my darts. I'm going to sew down the darts. After that, I'm going to place the front pattern on it, good face to good face, while I connect the strap to the edge there. After sewing down the strap, I'm going to use the lining. I'm going to place the lining on it. Then I'm going to sew down through the armpit to the sides, but I'm not going to be sewing the downside of it. Alright, so now I've gone ahead to do that. So I'm going to turn it out, sorry. I notched it all around, so now I'm going to turn it out. You see how it looks. I've also sewn my dart. So after turning it out, this is how it looks. I've been able to connect the spaghetti strap to the back and the front pattern. Just follow the method the way I did it, you'll understand it better. So I'll sew this side, but before doing that, I'm going to be attaching the rope at the side that you use for your wrap. And I'm going to be attaching it to the front pattern. Watch carefully how I'm able to achieve this without leaving rough edges. The rope is 1.2 inches in width, and in length is around 20 something. Just work on it. Take the length based on your waist measurements. What you know will go around your waist for you. So I went ahead to sew in one part of it, while the other rough part is what I'm going to be putting in the front part of the wrap top. So look at how I'm going about this. I'm going to be turning it from that 2.5 inches allowance I left opened. I use that to turn it inside out. So now I have the wrong face out just at that edge there. I'm going to be putting my strap into it. So right now we have good face to good face. That's the strap is on the good face, and while the fabric is on the good face. So I'll go over to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew it down at that point. So that's how it looks after sewing it down. I also did the same thing with the other side. So now you're going to turn it back out. Just watch it carefully, you can see. So at the end we have a very neat finish in there. If you don't understand how I'm explaining it, please just carefully watch how I went about it. You'll definitely understand what I'm saying. So now I'm going to fold the back. Remember, the back is completely left opened. I'll go to my sewing machine and stitch it. While the 2.5 inches for the front, I'll use my hemming gum. So I'm done doing that. And this is what we have. I use my hemming gum for the front while I stitched down the back. So now I'll go over to sew the side. I'll turn it to the wrong face and sew down the side. So I'm done sewing down the sides, and this is what we have, guys. This is our wrap spaghetti crop top. Please hit on the red button below and subscribe to the channel. Also like our videos. Thank you and remain blessed.